There's some really good teaching. And one of the ideas is that we have this already always listening. It's a box. And around it is all of the things that we're questioning and asking in our brain when somebody tells us something. So already always listening is these thoughts that are saying, how is this going to make me look? What is this? Is this person telling the truth? Do I care what this person says? Is this person credible for me to be listening to? Will it make me look bad to say this? Will it make me look good to say this? And so even in conversation, that already always listening, this line of theory was suggesting is always happening. So trying to avoid it happening isn't the game. I think the game is to allow it to happen, acknowledge it, and move past it. Get to the actual work, which is really listening and really responding from a socially unimpeded, truthful point of view. And hopefully today we'll play and create a little bit more, and you'll add something to your toolbox. This is a quote from How the Body Knows Its Mind, which is a great research text. It's a simple read if you're interested, and it's about the way that the mind and the body are interconnected. The way we move affects our thoughts, our decisions, and even our preferences. So how do you engage your body so that it actually is informed by you and not the other way around? How can you connect those two things together? So, I want to first call attention to our neutral body. Our bodies, the way we sit in chairs, the way we stand up, the way we move about the room, all tells our mind certain things about how we're feeling. So, for example, as we saw in those photos of the very disengaged versus the very engaged participants, any body position that is arms crossed, or even hip placement, having weight in a different off-centered place, all of these things are communicating something to our mind. So if you want to, as an actor, we have a thing we call neutral body, and it is feet shoulder width apart. It's unlocking our knees, it's shoulders back, and it's tucked under versus like allowing your back to get out of whack, and it's pulling tall from the top of your head, and it's arms at your sides. That's it. Just a neutral body. If you'd like to, I'd invite you to stand up behind your chair and try finding in your own body what it feels like to stand in a neutral body position. Here we go. Absolutely, yeah. If you need to shake it out a little bit because you've been sitting, find that neutral body, that's great. Yeah, our arms are at our sides, our feet are shoulder width apart. Our hands are probably not in our pockets or behind our backs. Absolutely. And can we just take some deep breaths from this place? Here we go. And out. Yeah. Relaxing. And in. And out. And one more. And out. From your neutral body, will you please face somebody that you can at least try to make eye contact with? I'm going to count from 5 to 0. Make eye contact with somebody. Find a set of eyes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Raise your hand if you don't have any eyes to look at. Okay, great. Good. And take a moment, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to breathe. You get 5 breaths together. Watch each other how you breathe, and just make eye contact. You may laugh. You may feel uncomfortable, and all that's okay. And if you do, allow yourself to laugh. Allow it. It's okay. Say yes to your emotional impulses. Here we go. Facing your eye partner, and just breathing together. 5 times breathing together at your own pace. Begin.
I'll be your eye partner.
Oh, you want to?
Get more dessert even.
Maybe this one. Oh, maybe we'll make that happen. Thank you. And shake it out. Thank you. I heard laughing, I heard some chatting, I heard some, I don't know, that kind of sounds of communication, absolutely. It's very simple, and of course, we're just trying to get back to our basics so we can connect our body and our mind so that they're always working in tandem with each other when we speak and when we interact. So here's the next thing. Can you show me in your body what it looks like if you are very disengaged? Now that you've had a neutral body, listening and responding just through breath, can you show me very disengaged? What might you do with your body to do that? And if this is about a 5 in the level of drama, can you show me a 10, like amp it up with the most dramatic version of this? Yes, I see. Very funny faces. Yes, absolutely blocking. Good. Could you show me now an engaged body? Oh wait, actually, can you go back to that dramatic one and then take stock in your gut? How are you feeling? How does it make you feel?
Not too good.
Not too good. What else? Tired, absolutely. What else? Bored, absolutely. What else do you find it feels?
Muscles are tight.
Muscles are tight, absolutely. Yep, which constricts the breath to the brain and everything. Very good. And now go back to our neutral body. Do you remember what that feels like? Great. Yeah. And how does this feel different? What do you feel now as you're breathing?
Happier.
You feel happier? Wonderful. Yeah.
Flexible.
Comfortable?
Flexible.
Flexible. Absolutely. Anything else? Relaxed. Absolutely. Good. When you're presenting, you have an opportunity to also make other people feel relaxed and good and flexible. And your body position as you present, using eye contact, using a neutral body, or choosing what kind of position you want to use your body to communicate, are all great tools just to remind ourselves that they're always accessible to us. Thank you. Will you high five somebody near you and take a seat again? So, in short, there's 3 things we're focusing on in this kind of work. It's mindfulness, just that releasing of that breath. It's embodied cognition, which is a whole social science research around the idea of keeping our bodies engaged and flexible. And then curiosity, actually getting curious about who people are and who you are. What do you care about? What makes you go to work? What makes you present that data? So in this next section, I just want to move us into discussing some narrative strategies. So as humans, we are hardwired, like I said, for connection. And the thing about connection is that the root of that connection is sourced in empathy. So there's actually studies that have showed how when you're watching a movie, you feel empathy for the characters that you see, but when you watch a live performance, there's vibrations that you're experiencing from those live performers that you're receiving in your being as well, and those vibrations actually trigger empathic responses, more so than when you can't feel those other human beings' vibrations. So using our connectivity with others so that we can access our empathy, we're already primed for receiving story. Here's the other great thing about story. You've been doing it all your lives. Disney's the best place for a story. They love them. And when you were a child, you were learning by story. We still learn by story even as adults. So you're already also experts at story, but we just need to get back to the basics of it. So what I want to invite you to think about is when you're presenting, when you have research and you have data, what is a narrative that's within your research and data that you can cling to that's personal to you? That's where we're headed. So for example, if you have, for example, this, the Moth Podcast. Anybody familiar with the Moth Radio show, Moth Podcast? Raise your hand if you are. A few, great. Oh my gosh, they're fabulous stories. There's a whole podcast series on them. It's called the Moth Radio Hour. And for example, this is the beginning of a story. I peeked my head out the doorway to see what was going on, and I saw the guards dragging clear plastic bags. I realized that we were going to get donated toys. There's a bit of a switch. There's a hook that's drawing you in. There's some sort of curiosity. They're creating a sense of curiosity just by sharing from a personal point of view something that they were experiencing. According to cognitive psychologist Jerome Bruner, stories are about 22 times more memorable than facts alone. So why not use them if we want our audiences to actually remember and take away something? I would even go a step further to say that if a story is personalized to you, in my acting training, we talk about specificity constantly. It's the more specific you are as your character, the more relatable and universal you are. And the idea behind that is that we connect with other human beings who are human beings. We don't connect with other characters as much. So if you are really authentically you, you're then able to be, or really honestly telling your own story, that story is able to be more transferable to somebody else's personal narrative. So here's some exercises. I'm going to choose from these. For example, you have we could use a spoon, we could use a cup, there might be something on your table. Can you turn to a partner? And what you're going to do is try to sell them something that is on your table. So a cup, a lid, a napkin. You're going to sell them. See if you can get them to buy that. You only have 60 seconds to do it, and then you'll switch if you get done. Okay? Here we go. Turn to somebody near you. If you don't have somebody, wait with
and it's something that, you can figure out. You don't have a box, you don't have 30 we see that I mean, this is everybody.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Raise your hand. Can you tell me what are some of the things that did anybody successfully sell? Yes? Somebody want to share? Ray, keep your hand up if you'd like to share a little bit about what your partner perhaps, what your partner told you about their item. Yes?
I sold a half a piece of this cake. Delicious.
How did you sell it?
I offered to half it with her.
You offered to half it with her. Did you say it's delicious?
It's delicious.
You gave us a feeling about it. Lovely. What else? Yes?
He sold me the magic powder.
He sold you the magic powder. Lovely. It would make your life better. Yep, okay. He told you some features about it, and that would be like maybe considered a feature or a fact about it, but he related it. False promises. Absolutely. Now, what if we were selling, what about selling that object with a story around it? So can you think now for a moment, what is a way that you could sell that with a story rather than facts and features? Because that's the problem with our data, right? We tell the things about it rather than craft a story that elicits an emotional response or some sort of connection. So why is that object important to you? And see if that'll sell it. Make it up. Here we go. 60 seconds, go.
Quite quickly, I'll use a story about a glass.
Think about an ice cream.
Yeah.
I have a friend.
Yeah.
Used to drink tea all the time. Which helps his body, helps his health. Now he's 110 years old. Still very good. Very good health. Just his tea. He loves tea. Good tea. Yeah. That's why everybody should drink tea.
Do you drink Chinese?
Yeah. I think
Is it a
it
monk?
doesn't
All right.
matter what type you use. That's the tea.
He's drinking it every day. And he's 90 years old.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yes.
I'm seeing laughter, I'm seeing clapping, I'm seeing people talking with each other. I'm seeing some people relaxing and having a drink. What are some?
I know somebody.
Thank you so much. Come on back. What are some of the things give me an example of a story that somebody told you and how that works. Yes.
You know, this may look like an ordinary can of Coke, but as Prince told me here, this came via Ghana to Dubai to New York, all the way to here. And you guys may think that this bear on here, this orange bear, is just found up north, but according to Prince, in Ghana as well.
Well done! Absolutely. Yes, did you have one too? Or does somebody else want to tell one? Yes, go ahead.
I saw the pen that I got from Walt Disney himself.
From Walt Disney himself, right? Suddenly that pen becomes so important. And that you got, and I wonder if did you tell the story about how he gave it to you?
I did, and the price went up as I thought of the story.
Right, absolutely. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. So the thing I want you to think about is, what is a story that is around your data, or around whatever your presentation is? What is a story of something that is important to you? What's an experience you have with it? Is there a personal story that you can think about? And with this last exercise, I want to take us into that place. So think just now for a moment, and I'll know that you've thought of some sort of, even one idea, a tiny little fledgling idea of a story. I'll know it if your hand's on your head. Of something related to your data. See a few, yeah. Yeah. Think about a time that something in your presentation, one of the reasons why you even do it. Why do you talk about your research? Yeah. Great, I'm seeing more hands and more hands going to heads. Yeah. And if you can't think of something, perhaps think of what is something that's important to you in general, and then how might your data be an opportunity for you to express that thing that's important to you. Saw a couple more hands on this for that. Great. Okay. In this last exercise, what we're going to do is you're going to be in a partner again, and you can actually choose somebody else at your table. Let's stay with your same partner since it's the end. And what you can do is your listener will listen